Thank you all you saw. With this, the International Conference on Yoga for Peace is declared open. Now I would like to invite Yog Shiromani Dr. Gopalji to give the welcome address. She was initiated sannyasins in 1979 from Swami Murti Saraswati, but now she is Jivan Mukh. She founded the first school in Italy in 1978 for yoga teacher formation. Now I welcome her on stage to give us lecture on various aspects of yoga.
Asatoma Satanayam Tamasoma Jyotirgamayam Mrityormam Ridamgayam Om Prayambagam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Pusharkanivavandana Mrityormushiyam Om Prayambagam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Purvarkamivavandana Mrityormushiyam Om Prayambagam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Purvarkamivavandana Mrityormushiyam Om Sarvesham Svasti Bhavatu Sarvesham Shanti Bhavatu Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu Sarve Bhavantu Sukhino Sarve Sampurnaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Makashti Bhavantare Om Purnamadam Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnavadaya Purnamevadvashishate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. I'm very happy to be here, and I wish to give thanksgiving to all my yoga teachers and to my guru, Swami Saraswati from Mongolia. The subject of my lecture today is the building of the inner temple. I was struck when I was studying architecture and the secret rules by which every temple in all religions, in all nations and in all times were built, also here in India. But especially, of course, in my country, in the 11th century, with the Romanesque art, very beautiful churches were built. And they still now, they are a place where pilgrimage are made from all over the world. And there are some esoteric meanings and some esoteric rules about the constructions of the temples and the effect the pilgrims had when they were going in these churches or in these temples, like also here in India you do. And there were so many analogies with yoga that I was very surprised, and that's why now I want to speak to make everybody realize of these analogies and similitudes of the outside temples and the inner temple that you do when you do yoga, when you practice yoga. Both arts, the art of yoga and the art of construction of the temples, are functional to man. And this is the first analogy which was very, very important. They are functional to man, to the human beings, in three ways. The first effect is the regeneration. sometimes also rejuvenation, but a regeneration of energy. Every pilgrim who goes in a temple, they feel completely renovated, with much more energy than before. And I was asking why this. In the outside temples there is this effect. Afterwards I will tell you. The second effect is a transformation. When you do a pilgrimage, you are completely transformed in order to be able to communicate with the divine principle, an absolute principle, or God, if you prefer to call God. And the third one is the union. To use a term very popular now, is a link between the human being and a divine principle. So all these three things, regeneration, renovation of yourself and the energy, the transformation and transfiguration also of yourself, and finally the union, you find exactly the same in yoga and the practice of yoga. So the important, was very important because now, especially in Western countries, the attention is very much put on the aesthetic execution of asana. But of course, this is every circus acrobat is doing asana better than we do, of course. This is not important in the yoga. The important thing is the interiorization you have while you do yoga. And that's why there is this analogy with the pilgrimage in a temple and the building of a temple. The three, also again, three fields where there is analogy between the building of a temple and the building of the inner temple through yoga are in the architecture, because both are made and measured, all the calculations, the proportions are made on man. Yoga, of course, is the body and the mind and the psyche of the person who is doing yoga. But the outside temple, anciently, where the master of work, they were called, there were special people in charge of the building of the temple. Every proportion, a calculation between the columns, the aisle, the nave, the central nave, and the aisle around, the bell tower, and so on, the proportion was exactly calculated according to the measure of the man. And it was from the big finger up to here, 52 centimeters. Then multiplied, you had the eighth of the columns and the eighth of the church. And these columns, especially, they have different eighths according to the sounds. The notes, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do, were supposed to sound better according to the eighth of the column. That's why the Gregorian chanting that you do in the church, in our churches, is bestly heard in these churches. So the man was the, if God has made man in his likeness, churches and temples are made in man likeness. And that's why it's a special place, a very special place where the human being can get in contact with man. Then the third, apart from the architecture, the second one is the way, the route. When you go to a pilgrimage, you don't go just like this. You enter a church and you go around like this. You have to follow a very special route. And it was first in the left, it was the dark side. It was the side where you have all the decoration, and all these decoration, once the people, the pilgrims were able to understand them. Now this language has been lost a little, but I'm sure that in India everybody knows the decoration you have in your temples, and you understand what they say. Left, and then you go down in the crypt. In the crypt, this was a connection, an interception of the telluric energy. And in the crypt it was like a wound, and you were purifying yourself. And it's not the case if the modern temples and churches are built on ancient places where ancient temples were there. We say pagan temples, not Christian, before Christian before Christianity, but also here in India. And then when you came out from the crypt, you were purified yourself, and also here you have all the purification you have to do physically with water, but also with singing of mantra and so on. Then you can go to the right, where it is south, the north, south. This was very important, the orientation. And also when you practice yoga, you have to be properly oriented. East when you are at dawn, and north when you are during any other hour in the day. Then you go to the right side, the south, and the sun was coming according to certain windows, and the rays of the sun were striking special parts to the right, and then center, and you go in the center, the nave, up to the altar, and here in India is the Sancta Sanctorum. In the Sancta Sanctorum was the highest point of the church, where there was the bell tower capturing the sky, the cosmic energy. And so the pilgrims, that's why the pilgrims had this transformation in themselves, because they were flooded, I would say, inundated by these currents of energy, opposite currents, because the telluric and the cosmic energy. When you reach the altar, you are completely charged and transformed, and then you are able to get in contact with a divine principle or God. But it's very important, the awareness, because if you don't do this with awareness, then it has no value. Now, actually my lecture was supposed to be also a practice for everybody, but here it's not possible. So I asked to one of my disciples to do, and I would like to ask to one boy if they can do simple asana like Vrishkasana, the tree pose, and Dhanurasana. If one of you can come and do also together with her. Otherwise she will do it alone anyway. Just to have the two principles, male and female. The two positive and negative poles of energy. Special, all asana are efficient on the energy circulation, but two in particular way. They put they make the man, the person, link between the telluric and the cosmic energy. One is a trikonasana, but made in this way. Gamiti varicate. I speak in Italian because she doesn't speak very well English, and so I give her the instructions in Italian. Gamiti varicate, appoggi una mano al centro, un pochino più avanti. First of all, you have to make the base. This is like a temple, a building of a temple. You have to make the base is a triangle. All geometrical figures also have a special meaning. This is a triangle, and the hand and the feet are well in contact, well anchored to the earth. The other hand up to the sky, and then you have to make the shoulders, straight line. While you are like this and you keep the pose, it's not a difficult pose, it's very simple. Then you add pranayama. When you breathe in from the earth, from the hand, you go up to the center of your chest. Breathe out along the arm. Breathe in from the fingers up, down to the chest, and breathe out down to the earth. When you do this, also very easy pranayama, because it's no retention, it's just a balancing of the breathing out and breathing in. You're feeling your body, your mind, and everything. You feel really in contact with the cosmic energies, and you will have a transformation. Thank you.
Thank you.